Welcome to Subramani. A lot of books have been written on adventure, and people will tell you how they went to the Himalayas, they climbed and they fell and they recovered and they came back. The less told stories are about those people who ventured into some of these unknown territories, maybe as a group of 2 3 people, or including some reasonably experienced people, and they just lost their way. This is not an avalanche hit them, they could not climb, or things like that. Maybe they just got too tired, or maybe they completely lost their way. This is one of I think the most painful ways to die, that you are unable to survive in that place. You've run out of food or something has happened, you lost your way, you don't know which direction to go, and you just die of exhaustion. You died because you lost your way. Now, for obviously for defense forces, many definitely Indian defense forces, they drop people somewhere in the Himalayas, and could be a high mountain, could be lower, and you are all your survival skills are tested, and you have to come back to a particular place in say 2 days or 3 days. By the time they know that your rations will run out, right? So then you just drop there with some basic rations, you're ejected out of a plane or whatever, and then you have to use your hands, maybe one knife that you are carrying, etc., and use all your survival skills and to come back. Is it possible that people die? There are many cases of people dying in Himalayas, but not army people. This is a training. Now I stay in GB, which is in Himachal Pradesh, with a person who is recruited by the army to go and search for people who cannot find themselves, right? That's such an amazing job. He's obviously a fantastic mountaineer, trekker, very good photographer, and fabulously fit. He goes around, searches for people, and that's his job. I've not seen him do it. Obviously, nobody would be able to do it. But then they come to him and say, "We dropped this person here. Can you go and search for him?" And and he's able to do it. Right now, cut to investing. Do people get lost while investing? Not so much of mutual fund investors, but direct equity investors, yes. You do not know when to stop buying, or when to stop averaging, and when to get out. Take my own case. The Diwan Housing was a company which I trusted. I thought the promoters were doing a good job, so I bought shares. Then I bought more shares, and luckily for me, my broker held back my hand. So instead of 20,000 shares, I ended up having 600 shares, which also I sold very quickly on the way down, because I realized something was wrong, and I was getting some information which was wrong. But these things do happen. So what do people do when they feel I can use my own experience and all the experience of some of the other friends, etc. First is denial. You're in denial, and the market is screaming at you saying, "Subra, something is wrong with Diwan Housing. Don't believe what somebody is telling you." Maybe one person in the management, maybe the promoter himself, or somebody who wants to be in denial. He does not want to lose his job. Too much of his compensation, it is in terms of ESOP. He does not want to believe. He does not understand, does not believe, or believes the promoter. Somebody is telling you, giving you some wrong information. So first is denial, then is urgency, and to start and say, okay, can I sell something else and buy more of this, because it cannot go to zero, right? Then you have theories like reversion to mean. One day the mean will revert, full stop. Mean reversion is not applicable for equity shares directly. It is applicable only for a big portfolio, like say the Nifty or Sensex. There will be reversion to the mean. Every share need not revert to the mean. Diwan Housing went from I think 200, 300 to 600, and then came back to zero. Silver Line went from 0 to 30, I think it started at 30, 30 to 300, 300 to 1300, 1300 back to zero. Pateja Forging went from 10 to 70 to 300 back to zero, right? So reversion to the mean is applicable only for a portfolio. Sorry, I am digressing, but I had to make this comment. Therefore, SIP does not work in bad shares. SIP may work in great shares. That is called hindsight bias. We are not talking about that also. Then you start bargaining, saying, look, I bought it at 44. I bought 100 shares. Now at 22, if I can buy another 400 or 500, and when it comes back to 33, I can get rid of everything. Now you're bargaining with the market, saying how much should I buy at 22? Market doesn't know. Market is not bound to answer your questions. Market doesn't even know that you exist. You know the market exists. That's your problem, not the market's problem. Then when all these things fail and you bought at 44, you came to 22, now it's at 11, then it's at 9, and now you are in a depression. You are now saying, oh God, equity markets are not for me. I should never have come here. It's a den of thieves, right? So typically all these comments which you have heard, Den of Thieves is a book. So all these comments come out and you say, oh, I should not be here. Market is not for me. Market is not a good place. I don't know what SEBI is doing, how they allow such promoters to be there. Complete frustration, depression. I will not invest in equities ever. I will sell my Hindustan Lever, Larsen and Toubro, SBI, HDFC and put everything in PPF or some Tata Sons fixed deposit or whatever fixed deposit is available to you, right? And then after some time there will be acceptance. Now the question is, how do you go through all this? The problem is you may, all of us will go through all these stages because we realize initially we think we can predict the markets, but then we realize that we can't predict the market. So what do? Keep learning. If you are not good at stock picking, which many of us are not, don't bother too much about picking stocks. Pick up big portfolios, pick up good fund managers, and when you pick up good fund managers, stick around with them during good times or bad times. Find yourself an advisor who has been through these cycles, who understands what you want and articulate, saying this money is for my daughter's education, this is for my son's education, this is for a bigger house. When you have your goals very clearly and goals like suppose you want to shift to a bigger house 10 years later, then it's fairly obvious that portfolio you have to look at that portfolio, maybe 2-3 mutual fund schemes in that. You have to look at it only after 5-6 years, right? You don't have to look at it on a day-to-day basis and feel depressed because your advisor or you have taken a view that this is a good value fund and it will do well only when the markets are not roaring. And if the markets are roaring and doing very well, that fund will do okay. It won't be too bad, but it will definitely not be in the top quartile. Maybe it will be in the second or third quartile. Be willing to accept those things. Don't look lost just because the market is down, or don't look like a genius just because the market is up. Like I said, the worst way to die in the forest, in the mountains, or anywhere or even in the sea is just by getting lost, not knowing where to go, having a map but not knowing how to read it, or not being able to pick up all the right signals. Then somebody has to search for you. If nobody is able to search for you before your food runs out, you're dead. So similarly in the market, if you keep investing, somebody will come and pull the plug. It could be a wife saying, look, if you keep losing money like this, I'm going to leave you. Or it could be a parent saying, look, are you mad? What are you doing? Why are you on the terminal day in and day out, right? So somewhere you will run out of oxygen, somewhere you will run out of food. Those kind of things you don't want such kind of things to happen. You also have to understand that the market scenario keeps changing on a day-to-day basis, right? What is a good share, what is a bad share, everything keeps changing. Once, let's say, Amazon gets listed, will you give the logistics company any PE at all, or will you give all the PE to Amazon? Or if Amazon starts developing good brands for toothpaste or shampoo, will the PE of P&G and HUL shift to Amazon? These are all questions which none of us know. So knowing whether to hold on to P&G and HUL or dumping all that and buying Amazon, right? All these questions have to be answered. In case of mutual funds, some of the answers will be given by the fund manager. In case of equities, you have to do it for yourself. You also have to understand that over long periods of time, we tend to look for patterns, but there is no such pattern. Somebody will tell you, oh, MNC companies, you cannot lose money. Not true. All the MNC companies today have a private company where they are launching their new products, right? So those companies may not be available to you. So will you continue to give them a PE of 80, 90, 100, 70, whatever? Right? So that's a question that you have to ask. The landscape is changing. The players are changing. The players' views are changing. Many people come into the market for 3 years. Some people come into the market for 33 years. So it is just the 3-year-old view guy shouting at the 33-year-old that, oh God, you don't even know how profitable it is to trade, right? So the 33-year investor is also now confused. I mean, a guy, when I say 33, I'm saying a guy who has been there for 33 years, he's also a little confused. He also looks a little lost. So amidst all this, you have to still invest. You cannot say, oh, I will invest after all this is over. That's never going to be over. Within all this cacophony, finding out the most important musical notes for yourself to hear and listen and enjoy is not going to be very easy. So be careful about what you're doing. Whatever, find a plan and stick to that plan. It's not that everybody makes a plan and sticks to it properly. So make a plan, stick to it. If you need an advisor, look for one. Otherwise, index funds work perfectly fine. Thank you.